Hey everybody, I want to say Happy New Year, but as I wrote in our email today, it's not really a happy time here. There are reasons that we can rejoice and be at peace, but we're getting ready to remember 1 year since October the 7th, which was the worst day in the history of the modern nation of Israel. But last night, and you can read about that in our email, I want to tell you a little bit about what happened yesterday. I know you've all seen the videos, and it was a really crazy moment because we had no warning that this attack from Iran was imminent. I think maybe a half hour before it happened, there were reports in the news that the U.S. was telling Israel that an attack could be coming, and then a few minutes later an attack could be imminent. What is imminent? Last time it was in the middle of the night. The ballistic missiles from Iran arrived around 1:30 or 2 a.m. if I remember correctly, and so it just happened so quickly. Suddenly our phones start blowing up. There's warning from the home front command to get everybody run to their bomb shelters. I mean, all over the country, not just normally when there's a rocket, it's in not just one city. Like in Ashkelon here, there's 3 different sections. So, it was suddenly on the TV, it will tell you this city is dealing with rocket fire right now out of hundreds of cities and kibbutzim and communities. But yesterday, like on the TV, it literally is listing down the line like 50 different cities at the same time. And so Elon and I, we're watching this, our phones are going crazy, but we don't see anything. We don't know of anything. We don't hear any sirens here in Ashkelon. And then suddenly there is the first siren. We run to our safe room and we stay there until the sirens are over. And then this is when it really got crazy. I felt like I was in a Star Wars movie. You've probably seen the video, but you've seen Star Wars where they're shooting at each other. I mean, it in the sky behind me, it was unreal. It at any given time, 20, 30, 40 different, they said there were 180 rockets. I know I saw, or not rockets, ballistic missiles. I know I saw more than that, but I was also seeing what's called David's Sling, which is the much larger version of the Iron Dome, which can take out ballistic missiles. And a ballistic missile, and I'm not an expert, I've learned this in the same amount of time you have just from reading the news, but they go straight up. Their arc is straight up, and it goes all the way up into the atmosphere, and then it comes back down on the target. So Elon and I, we saw the sea is over there that way. We could see rockets coming from the sea, but Iran is over there. So to this day, to this moment, I don't know what to make of it. I don't know what was ours, what wasn't ours. Obviously, the ones that were going up from the ground were clearly ours, and the ones that were coming down on our cities was clearly Iran, the ballistic missiles. But then there were missiles coming out of the sea over there. Literally, it felt like maybe 200 or 300 meters into the sea. There was just, and again, you can see it on our Facebook live video that we did. There was just a bright orange, yellow something in the sea, and I can only imagine that it was a U.S. destroyer. I don't know. But initially, rockets were going up from there, which would make sense that it was a destroyer, because they were, along with Israel's David's Sling, which is also called the Arrow 2 or Arrow 3. You had the U.S. sending the same anti-missiles up. And it was crazy. We sat out here through probably, I can't even remember, 3, I think, different waves of, and you would see them lined up, rocket, right after another, just coming in. And very few of them landed, and then some of them that did land, it wasn't a direct hit. It was, what happens is the arrow or the David Sling takes it out in air, it detonates it in air, so you have debris falling on fire to the ground, which is not good, but it's a whole lot better than a munition that has not exploded. So as a result, I mean, really a miracle. You're 180 ballistic missiles just shot at one country, and no significant damage. One Palestinian was killed, and I want to share this. I want to be very sensitive in the way I share this, because I'm not. That Palestinian was a worker. From what I understand, he was caught here. He had a work permit on October the 7th, and he was stuck in Israel. That means he probably didn't go. Not probably. He did not go home for Shabbat, which sometimes happens. Palestinians who have work permits here will sleep in a building just so they don't have to go, like a building that's being built, not just any building, but maybe the building they're working on. And because it takes so much time to go back into Gaza, to come out of Gaza. You know, obviously there's nobody with work permits right now from Gaza, but on October 6th, on October 5th, there were. And so this fellow ended up going to the West Bank, because obviously he couldn't go back to Gaza. There was no way to get back into Gaza. And he went to the West Bank, and yesterday he was killed by an Iranian missile. So again, he is a human being made in the image of God. Yeshua died for him. What I'm going to say now isn't to make fun or to rejoice, but it is ironic that Iran sends 180 ballistic missiles in defense, supposedly, of the Palestinian people, and the only one they actually kill is a Palestinian. And again, we're not making fun of that. I'm sure he has a family, and but you know, just the irony of it all. No Israelis were killed. 2 were injured on Kavish Road number 6, which is a road that goes right down the middle of Israel. I saw right over there in Ashdod, and you can see in the video we made yesterday that debris fell from the sky and there was an explosion. It's hard to line up the news with exactly what you saw with your eyes, because not everything is reported on. There were other explosions at different places. There is a place near Irad, which is in the desert, where Bedouin Arabs were celebrating with a massive. I mean, if you see these ballistic missiles, they're not. I've held, with my hands, the rockets that they send from Gaza. They're roughly, this big. They're not huge. They can kill you. A bullet can kill you. So you can imagine what a rocket can do. These are massive. These, the one I saw back in April was probably 10 meters, 30 feet long. The one I saw last night looked like about 10 to 15 feet long, wide. And again, it exploded in the air and it fell to the ground because we were able to take it out. It was crazy. It was really, my adrenaline was going, so I wasn't really scared in the moment. And eventually when you're in that intense adrenaline moment, it runs out. It's suddenly I was exhausted, and all day long today I just have had no energy, and I couldn't figure out why. And I'm just assuming it's connected to last night. You don't ever want to go through anything like that. We all went through it from all over the country. We could see it because they were everywhere in Jerusalem and in Tel Aviv and in the north, Haifa. It was really crazy. And thank you so much for praying for us, praying for protection. One of the amazing things about social media is that you were able to see in real time through, hundreds of Israelis that were streaming it live. You were able to pray, and I believe God heard your prayers. Second time now that they've sent a massive amount of ballistic missiles, and there's been almost no damage. So thank God. We give glory to God. It's easy. Now this is where, if I could warn the Prime Minister, if I could warn the cabinet, the government, is don't get cocky. Don't get cocky. We did that after the 6-Day War. 6-Day War, we weren't supposed to win. Little history. We were about to be attacked by Syria, Egypt, and Jordan, and we launched a preemptive strike. We ended up winning that war in 6 days, hence it's called the 6-Day War. It was one of the greatest feats in modern warfare, but we got lazy and we got cocky, and then in 1973 we were attacked again by Syria, and it didn't. We won that war, the Yom Kippur War, but at great loss. And it didn't have to be that way if we had done a better job. And so we want to give glory to God. We want to give glory to God for our protection. So as you can see, the sun is going down. It's actually going into clouds, but it is on its way down. Sundown is coming, where we will, I don't want to say celebrate, but commemorate the Jewish New Year, which, as you know, in the Bible, or maybe you don't know, we call it New Year. That's something that came about during the Babylonian exile. It's not actually a New Year in the Bible. It's called the Feast of Trumpets. It wasn't celebrated as New Year, but believe it or not, we copied the Babylonians, because when and here comes the sun, we were stuck there for a little while, as you know, and we adopted their New Year and their months. Many of our months are actually named after the Babylonian months, and but in the Bible, it's the Feast of Trumpets, and we know that the trumpets celebrate, commemorate, or looks forward to the coming Messianic kingdom. And those of us who are believers in Yeshua, we know that Yeshua, Jesus, is coming to this country, to Jerusalem, to set up his kingdom. I don't know if you heard that. That wasn't a trumpet. That was just some crazy drivers. But their trumpet will sound, and we will be changed. And I believe we will meet him in the sky as he returns to planet Earth to set up his kingdom on earth, in Jerusalem, that will go to the ends of the earth, the coming Messianic kingdom. So even in this time of incredible sadness, of incredible mourning, as we mark the 1-year anniversary, let's remember on Yom Teruah, which we celebrate tonight, what we're looking towards. We're looking towards the resurrection, the coming kingdom, the Messianic age. So let's, Yeshua said, when you see all these things happening, look up, for your redemption draws near. God bless you. Thank you for praying for us, for standing with us. We bless you from Jerusalem, from Ashkelon, one day in Jerusalem, in the name of Yeshua. Shalom.